Welcome to Tying One On with Sean. Today I'm going to be tying the Isonychia Nymph, a great late summer, early fall trout fly. This pattern follows many of the fly tying methods I have shown in the previous videos. I tie this in a size 10 through 14, and today I'm tying a size 12 200R hook. I've added weight today. Sometimes I'll add weight and a black bead head, sometimes just the bead head, and sometimes unweighted. All depends on the flow of the river you're fishing as well as the depths. So now we're going to tie in the pheasant tail for the tail here. We'll get it on top of the hook and then apply some upward pressure with your left hand to keep it on top of the hook. Now I have a partridge quill stripped, and I'm going to tie that on top, which is going to become the median stripe that runs up the entire length of the body. I'm going to pull this pheasant tail back here because this is also going to go along the ridge line of the fly all the way up and become the wing case. Now this has ribbing as well, and I'm going to tie this on the back because I'm going to counter wrap it. So this is a black wire. Some people use gold or copper. I prefer the black. The dubbing on this is a mix between a darker like brown and a maroon hare's mask. Occasionally I'll add in a little bit of black to darken it up. It all depends on your local waters and the insect activity on your waters. So we're going to dub this body up about 2/3 of the way up the hook shank, between 1/2 and 2/3. And as I've mentioned in my other videos, I like to get the dubbing wound pretty tightly, and I can always brush it out if I need to. If it's the other way around and I make them too loose, there's not much I could do about it, once the body is built. So we want to build a nice tapered body here, and I'm going to try and tighten this up a little bit. Now you can tie these as simple or as complex as you like. Some people leave the stripe out, and I've tied them both ways, with and without the stripe. Now we're going to bring the pheasant tail up the ridge line, and secure that in there, and make sure we got it right where we want on top. And now I'll bring the stripe up. Just secure that with your thumb while you pull that down tight. Now I'm going to wrap the ribbing forward and probably brush this out a bit before I fish it. These flies, these nymphs are great swimmers, and there's a lot of action along the abdomen, along the length of the nymph. So I'll brush that out a little bit to try and get a little bit of action. Sometimes people will put like an ostrich plume just underneath the pheasant tail that you pull up along the ridge, and that creates action along the abdomen as well. So we're going to pull this back a little bit because I want to build the thorax up nice and tight to that pheasant tail for the wing case. So since these are good swimming flies, one thing I should add is that it kind of extends the attraction phase for the trout, because you can fish them dead drift. You can add a twitch or two during the dead drift, as well as the entire swing of the drift as well. That entire time they are very attractive to trout. So this is a great fly. You can also fish this along the banks, because the nymphs like to kind of migrate to the shallows as they hatch, and the banks become very active with these nymphs. If you're fishing a midstream, fish around the larger boulders. So I'm going to add in my partridge for the tails in the typical V, as I've shown in previous videos. And we just want to make sure that stem is right on top. Now I'm going to pull this pheasant tail forward, and just a couple of wraps here, and now I'm going to adjust my lengths of my legs. So once I have the length of my legs right where I want them, I'm going to pull this stripe forward, secure that, and I'm going to pull a couple of wraps in the front here. Trim this off. We'll build up a little head. This Isonychia Nymph is a relatively simple pattern to tie, and as I said, you can make it as complex as you'd like, with and without the stripe, with and without the ostrich plume. Oh, quick whip finish. Cut our thread. Clean up any stragglers around the head. Just clean this up a little bit. But Isonychia Nymph, great looking fly, very buggy looking fly. We're going to add UV resin to the top on the thread and on top of the wing case. I've seen some people will add it along the ridge line of the fly as well. I just do the wing case. We'll harden that right here. And there you have it. Size 12, Isonychia Nymph. Enjoy catching lots of trout with this fly. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time at Tying One On with Sean. Check us out at guidezoo.com.